Hey guys, what's up? Matt Rhodes here from Matt Rhodes Fishing, and I want to talk about a big question on how to catch fish in the fall, and I hope this helps everybody out there. And I know fall season sometimes is super hard to catch bass, and I think these tips, if you take them out and remember them, it'll help you have better hookup ratio and just more caught fish. So let's get to it. First, we're going to talk about fall and what that entails in the water. Fall is a big turnover, and turnover just means that water just starts rotating. That hot water from the top of the water column starts moving down, and that low oxygen water starts moving up, and it starts moving. Oxygen's moving everywhere around in the water columns, and bass just don't really know what they want to eat, what they want. They just kind of gets them all combobulated and cattywampus and all those cool fancy words, but it kind of gets them just out of the ordinary, and the barometric pressure is just everywhere. And one good tip is, in the fall, I feel it feels like, especially here in the Panhandle of Florida, it's cold front after cold front after cold front. And it's really hard to time them, especially like I'm a weekend angler, so I got to time them just right, just so I can get those fish and those great catches and those great videos. But it's really hard to time them. And that being said, the best time to probably catch the bass where they're going to be more active, more feeding, is probably like up to 2 days before a cold front comes. So check your weather, all the way to during the cold front. Anything after the cold front, it seems like they just kind of get hung to cover, and they don't want to eat, and they just wait and they wait. If they really sense that cold front coming, and they start feeding up and preparing for the cold afterwards, and it's almost like a bear hibernating a little bit just for a few days. They just kind of like and it's hard to catch them bass in those few days. And the best thing I can see is when that water starts turning and the oxygen level, you can constantly catch fish or bass a lot more in the shallow water, which means the oxygen has a lot less turnover rate in the water columns because it's shallow, and it's more consistent. And those bass like that, so they'll stay shallow to structure, and you'll catch your fish. You'll get your bass to the boat. You'll get your quick 5 count limit all the way to the boat early, and then you work on that big fish. And in this part of the year too is I say the summer is all about the thermocline, and what that means is that thermocline is a middle section. You got your top water level, you got your bottom water level, and you got your thermocline, and then fish will suspend in there. They also do it, I feel like they do it in the fall. Cause it's all mixing and stuff and everything, and it seems like that middle section or above is going to be where all the shad are, and for oxygen reasons and everything, all the shad will be from thermocline up, I believe. I don't not necessarily deep, not until like the cold winter where it's consistently cold, and that's when they'll start going deep and start getting to the ground where the water starts to warm a little bit more down below, and get warmth from the ground and from rocks and stuff. But that's in a future video. And in this video, I just wanted to go over the water sections and the water column, in which you guys know. And the water will tend to get dirty during the fall because all that water turning over and everything. And you'll really know that it's turning over when it gets dirty. When it starts to get clear, it's probably settled a little bit, and it's either before or after. But it being dirty is a good time to throw brighter baits, and I like to say loud baits, rattle traps and stuff. So we're going to actually go over that right now. We're going to get into baits and what to use. So hope this helps. And I guess to get into baits, let's start with top water and work our way down. So top water for sure is going to be, here I got some stuff right here. It's going to be top water walking bait. I like them with a small popping mouth like this BD series, but top water walking bait is really good first thing in the morning. And I like a lot of stuff with noises, like a buzz frog, a buzz bait. I just like that clinking noise, and that noise will really attract them and bring them up to the surface. A lot of bait shad are spawning, a lot of bait fish are spawning in the fall time. and they'll all school up and they'll get close to the surface, and this will help. And this will bring those fish up, those big bass, and help you bite them. And then that kind of covers, well, we got one more. You can do subsurface and top water and stuff. A fluke. This is a little darker of a color I would use. I would try to stick to like a shad pattern, but this fluke is probably good. You can rig it so many different ways and fish it top of the column. You can fish it mid column, and you can drop shot it and fish it at the bottom. So soft plastic jerk baits are a really good bait. Square bill crankbaits. I love the square bill crankbaits in the fall because they have the ones with the wide wobble. They just seem to rattle, and they put off a lot more disturbance in the water, and it helps attract those fish in the fall. And besides that, guys, spinner baits. Spinner baits are key. I like spinner baits with a willow leaf and like a small Colorado leaf. And but if you can fish these different columns, you know, and you can let this sink, fish it close to the bottom. I like to fish them right below the surface because they act like shad, and you know, shad are spawning and they're right there at the surface. So I like to fish these shallow. And also lipless crankbaits.
Little secret, I'm not telling these other guys. I've been catching them right off the bank with this guy. Right off the bank.
I love lipless crankbaits. I could use them all year long, but the fall is key. I love lipless crankbaits, and I like to keep them right below the top of the water, right below the surface, and they make a lot of rattling noise, and they attract a lot of fish, and those are key to use too. And a lot of these are search baits. I mean, fast moving baits, and it's the season to catch your biggest bass. So I hope these help, guys. One another thing mid column I like to use is a chatterbait. I like dark blades, and if it's dim outside, overcast, I like to use a gold blade, or maybe sometimes a shiny blade, but gold usually does the trick. But chatterbaits, and I'll put a swim bait or a buzz crawl as a trailer. That seems to attract them a little bit more. There's a little bit more movement, a little bit different reaction. And if you guys want to try something even different, is to hook that swim bait upside down. That'll give it a little bit difference. I mean, the swim bait swims tighter, but then this wobble is heavier, and it's all over the place, and bass will tear it up. So try that out, guys. That's a little tip from me. Also, mid is going to be jerk baits. Jerk baits are really great baits for the winter time, but I'm not a big jerk bait fisherman, so I only use them a few months out of the year, and mid to late fall is ideal for jerk. That water's churning, and you get a suspension or floating jerk bait, and especially when it has a deep rattles. But jerk baits are awesome. I love them. And when you get a jerk bait or anything with treble hooks, remember, guys, you want to rig that up on something with a nice parabolic bend to it, a rod. And KastKing has a full set of rods, full set of line rods. They're awesome, and they're coming out with even awesomer rods. So stay tuned, guys. I hope you enjoy these rods. My favorite is the Royale Legend, so keep that in mind. I love the price point, I love the action, and I love how it feels. So just keep that in mind, guys. And it's like I tell you, it's mid to top water. Another mid bait to top water. I'll throw these weightless, and right below the surface is soft plastic paddle tail swim bait. When the water is a little bit clearer and you get a little shad color, these are ideal. You can even throw them on an Alabama rig. But I'm telling you, the soft plastic swim baits, I catch them all year long. These are very ideal. So I hope you enjoy that, guys. One more thing, and the one key thing that I would use, actually two, that I would use for bottom fishing when it seems to settle. It's before a cold front or before something that's mixing the water up. And that's going to be a jig. I like black and blue with a little crawl trailer. But you can get something bluegill color is great. Anything with some chartreuse color, because that water is going to be a little bit dirtier if they're holding to rocks or anything at the bottom. Jigs are perfect. Also, the shaky heads. Get a nice long worm, throw it on a shaky head, and fish it slow. If they're just not active at all, and you can fish it slow, because they're gonna sit there and look at it for a long time before they commit. Shaky heads are great baits. I love them. Football headed shaky heads are even better on rocks and everything. But you're one to remember, stick to cover, stick to shallow water, stick to below surface or top water, and stick to fishing. But and remember guys, head over to amazon.com/KastKing. Check out what they got going on. Hit that like and that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time guys, get out and fish.